only that, not
better
only do
than
we have the
ours.
weapon systems in that country, but you know what? Israel has one thing that I wish we have that we do not have. They require every single citizen to serve in the military. Every single one.
Trump said he's going to put the Iron Dome over the United States. I think that's a good idea too, because
Well,
truth be told, we
wouldn't
actually don't have a deterrent or defense against missile attacks.
so Lindsay, I do agree with you on that point. I think it's great, but my question is how, like, wouldn't that affect our ability to be free if we were forced to join the service?
No.
Most
Are
men
you
already
less free
are.
because people have to sign up for the draft?
Like, you already have like a time frame of when you men still have y'all are still like, my brother just got one when he turned 18. He got a thing in the mail saying if there's a draft, you got to go. Luckily, like, we haven't had to worry about it, but that's still there and it's very active. And I mean, just because you don't have to do it from 18 until death, you still have to do it for like several fucking years in your peak.
See, here's the thing.
Age.
This is why
I think it's also if you're able-bodied too. It extends
right. Well, you
if
have
you're
to be
able-bodied.
able-bodied. I agree,
Like,
but
And you also,
I think
if you're
if you're
a priest,
40,
you
if you're
don't have
40
to
years
do it.
old and you're in good health, they'll take you in a draft.
well,
I found that out the other
I
day.
think
No,
this is
I
the
don't. I
point.
think it stops at 30.
But I think this is the point. I think that we need to not. This is so you got Ukraine, right? For example, they have a military, but they're having all of their citizens, right? All able-bodied men. You know, they're having them stay behind, and a lot of them don't have any military experience. Israel, because of the type of country that they live in, and they have continual conflict with Palestine, they're ready for war at any time, and everybody knows what to do, and everybody knows how to handle things. And we need to have that type of security here.
Right.
I don't think we have that as like, because we've had like so much patriotism, and then when they thought that we would lose it around 9/11, that's when they enforced the Patriot Act, and it kind of like forced patriotism. So that way they put out like military propaganda to make us want to join the military during that time period.
Weapons
And we
of
don't
mass
have that now.
destruction and like
you know what, Lynn?
Looking back, we had the wool pulled over our eyes. Bush was the best salesman in the world.
Yeah. You know what, Lynn? You're on to something about everybody being in the military.
Yep.
That's a horrible idea.
You're breaking up, Chris.
So pushing for females to be a part of the draft. Like, they literally have legislation now, and the feminists are behind it.
Yeah, but the draft,
because they want that.
Sign me up. Put me in, Coach.
Chris, you're breaking up, bud.
Mystic, she's not saying that everyone would have to go to combat or whatever. Like she's saying serve in some way.
Yeah, in some capacity, whether it's administrative or whatever the case is. But I still think
That's like World
that
War
everybody
II.
needs to have a vested interest in the defense of this country. Number one, it'll help instill
I understand that, but
What about
makes
now?
yeah, you're good now.
Am I good?
What makes our military so strong and what makes it so damn powerful is the fact that it's made up of entirely volunteer soldiers, right? To force people into service would literally pervert, right, what it is to be a service member in this country, right? Like,
well,
But not really.
here's what I was
World War
saying.
II and World War One. They
upset
sent
about.
every man to fucking war at World War One, World War Two, and they left the women behind to run everything, right? And that didn't kill it.
and realistic. So when it comes to the draft, the likelihood of a normal civilian getting drafted, whenever there's an issue, right, wherever we need to draft people, right, the first thing that they're going to do is that they're going to go in through every person that's up to the age of 60 years old.
You are breaking up.
And
what he was saying is they're going to go through all of the stuff, and they're going to get the previous military people first before they start going.
But
for
look, guys,
Yeah.
listen.
But Lynn is right though, because we have the lowest.
So this country,
We have the lowest numbers right now of people wanting to be in the military.
This country was built. This country was built on able-bodied men ages 16 to 60 being able to bear arms and being called at any point in time. Now that we're all about equality and all of this shit, we have women in the military and stuff like that. Israel's got it right. Israel's got it right where they require everybody to serve a minimum of 4 years in the military. Number one, that'll solve a lot of problems because everybody will have access to college.
Lynch, look at the size of Israel. Look at the size of Israel. Look at the size of Israel and look at the size of the United States. We don't need that shit. Israel doesn't have a choice. They're small and they're always at war. I can understand why. Right?
Okay, so the most
it's a matter
damage that you have
it's a matter of security for the country, so that everybody.
Mystic, look at the kids today.
Right.
Look at the kids today. Do you think that they would be they would be okay going to war? Because I mean, dude, no, they wouldn't. They would not until you make them get some form of reality. But it would be better to go ahead and have them fucking prepared, give them some type of job, right? To make sure that when they have to be drafted, they're not going to sit there and cry or give up their gun or just panic and just completely just be the downfall of all of us. Because right now, that's what I see with these kids if we make them go to war. And all we needed to do was kind of continue this whole patriot thing, keep strong with the draft. And we should give them some form of at least you need to know how to load a shotgun. Because back in the day, if you were a man, you were required to get a gun because of the draft. Just in case you were drafted, you had to bring your own weapon with you. I think that should still be a thing today. I think they should force every single man at least, or at least every household to own a fucking gun for that very reason.
The biggest casualties of war is the civilians because they don't know what the fuck to do in the middle of the war. That's what I'm saying.
When
I don't
have
think
to draft them, it's kind of too late.
If you serve 4 years,
the difference is between
bill.
these.
But wait,
the difference is
it'll help with poverty, right? It'll help with poverty. It will.
It's gonna do the exact opposite.
No,
it's gonna do the exact opposite. You're gonna get a bunch of people going through basic training that don't have the testicular fortitude or the mental fortitude to handle it, right? And you're gonna end up with an entire fucking population of the United States fucking suffering from PTSD. That's what's gonna happen.
Mystic, it would be one or hold on.
They suffer
it would be
from
one or
PTSD
two generations.
On generational fucking trauma or whatever else. They make that shit up.
Exactly.
Mystic,
exactly.
Hold on.
Think about these people going through basic.
Hold on.
You've seen boys go into the military and come out men.
Right.
That shit.
Mystic, hold on. 1 or 2 generations, Mystic.
You're breaking up, Mystic.
Mystic, 1 or 2 generations would have those issues, sure. But once they start having parents that were in the military, raise them differently, then we would have more people with testicular fortitude in the future, and it would make our country tougher.
And it would give everything.
Listen, you know what's another reason why I'm so against it?
Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, the reason why I'm so against it is in every fucking country, right? In every country where communists and socialists take over, the first thing they put into effect is mandatory military service, bro. I fucking refuse for my children to be forced into a fucking service that they didn't choose. There's more than enough of us that volunteer, right? We don't need to be forcing our youth to go pick up a weapon to go fight. Because we're not going to defend our shores. We're not going to defend our...
That's something that I was going to say, because I agree with my brother there. But I also think that this is what I was trying to say. What I'm I think we should have mandatory. I said, everybody should have mandatory military camp training. First of all, that's going to cure a lot. I didn't say go into the military. Not everybody needs to be a veteran, but everybody needs to be prepared just because we do still draft. And we're giving them training, mandatory training. First, going to show people what? Gun safety and gun responsibility. That's going to cure a lot of the problems we have with these shootings. 2, again, boot camp turns young boys to men. This is why when we have those things like we have those bad kids that go to prison, sometimes they put them in military camp, right? We got away from that and look at our generation now. All I'm saying is this, I'm not telling them to be in a military, but I believe they should have some type of mandatory military training outside of high school. Just like I believe that we should have mandatory training when it comes to trades versus what we're teaching in school now.
Exactly, Chris. I mean,
I'm not
if you go to a
anything
school or trade school, you will find ROTC classes. You will find the rifle team. and every child can learn. I mean, it's a elective where you get to choose, but to given today's time, choosing ROTC as an elective should not be a choice. It should be mandatory. And especially the rifle range where you're learning how to properly shoot. I mean, we got so many crybabies today because they still need their diapers changed at the ages of 20 and 30.
I just think there's more pros to cons.
There is. I mean, and just say they don't want to pay for college. The military will pay for your trades. You could get a
mandatory
GI Bill.
anything in a fucking in a democracy.
It used to be
We're
mandatory.
not in a democracy, though.
Hold on,
That's-
it's not a democracy.
Yeah, we're not in a democracy.
And it used to be
no.
mandatory.
Number two, it has
Every man
right. Every man
that was
has to
17
sign for
had to
that.
be in the militia, Mystic.
Yep.
That was the way it was. Every
how it
man
started.
from 17 and older had to be in the militia, have a firearm, and ready to respond in case of the
correct me
need
if
for it.
correct me if I'm wrong, but when every man had to be in the militia, we weren't under the United States Constitution. We were under those of the Confederacy, right?
No, that was
No,
dude. Listen,
No.
the Republic, the Bill of Rights, all this stuff is like, it doesn't matter. The Constitution still supports the Bill of Rights. It doesn't support a democracy. It supports the Republic, bro. I hate this democracy crap. Everyone keeps saying democracy and democracy. I'm tired of democracy. I could care less about democracy. I hope democracy withers away and disappears.
All right, so it's a play on words, dude. Realistically, whatever. I don't want to get into that argument. I really don't.
Well, the point is, right? We have to look at what is beneficial for our country, right? And I think that we have a lot of problems that can be fixed with this one, and I think that the pros outweigh the cons. I just think it's the best way to go. And it's still.
And I'm sorry, a little bit of discipline. Yeah, a little bit of discipline in kids through military training when it's actually not something bad. I'm not saying, because I agree with him, not forcing people into it, but it's military. And the thing is, we can't say that the things are not mandatory, because guess what's mandatory? K-12. That's mandatory.
Right.
Yep.
You have to go to school.
So we can't get into semantics where we feel like something is being, because we have mandatory things.
Mandatory. K through 12 ain't mandatory.
Yes, it is.
Training is discipline, right? The point of basic training is not to make you burst. The point of basic training is to fucking break you. That's what it's for. Okay,
It's to
you are
break you
literally
down and build you
dismantling
back up.
somebody's mental,
But Mystic, getting
In their
broken
image.
down,
and that's
getting broken
dangerous as fuck.
down. No, listen, getting broken down and built back
We'll
up.
change it.
We will
It
also
still
identify
needs
those
to be
people who are
done.
mentally unstable, and will know who shouldn't have a firearm at that point. And then there's no debates or arguments about it anymore. If you have a breakdown and
But
you
look
cry
at the
through all
road.
the
Look at the road
basic,
you're going down. Now, if I fail, but look at the road that you're going down without even realizing. One, now you're taking people's right to choose away, and now you're saying that if you're not man enough to defend the country, then you're not man enough to defend yourself.
no. What I'm saying is,
Like, do you see the slippery slope
What
that
I'm
it
saying
causes?
is,
Yeah, I
is
wouldn't
for
go
people
that
that
far with
argue
it.
that our rights are not absolute. I'm giving you a solution to where you can get on board with it. Because like I don't support background checks and
Brother,
mental health checks.
Brother, listen. If you look at it tactically, bro, because this shit gets me really riled up. If you look at it tactically, any country, okay, that has mandatory military service in effect, okay, is subject to invasion. Okay, they are countries, okay, that tactically on the freaking map, right? They are subject to
Israel
invasion because of the way that their land is.
Israel disagrees with
Okay.
you. Who's going to invade Israel?
Israel can disagree with me all they want.
Mystic.
It doesn't matter. But they can be. But they
Israel fights invasion all the time, right?
Whether you're a Christian or not.
Liz, you're agreeing with me. Israel fights invasion all the
by God.
time because you can invade Israel. You literally are giving my point to me. Okay,
No.
the United States.
No, Mystic, because here's the thing. If it was possible for them to be invaded, it would have happened by now. They deal with it all the time. That's kind of my point. They are ready and they are prepared, and they make sure that all of their people have some sort of military training so that if something goes down, everybody knows what to do. Everybody has the same training. They all know how to defend themselves. And they did that.
So if they're invaded, right, Linz? So if they're invaded, right? Who the fuck is going to invade the United States?
To invade them. If somebody attempts to invade Israel, they have a better chance at fighting it off when they have an able-bodied military.
Because they're invadable, Linz. You cannot invade the United States. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, you can't. We absolutely can be invaded. Absolutely. We are not on an island, Mystic. We have other countries that are directly attached to us. We absolutely can be invaded at any time. We have soft borders.
This is look, and I mean this respectfully, this is a case of arguing some shit that you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay?
I know exactly
Tactically
what
speaking,
I'm talking about.
No, you don't. Tactically speaking, we have the most perfect position geographically on the entire map. Okay? We are uninvadable. Canada is not gonna invade us. Okay, and it's stupid to think that they are. Mexico is not going to invade us. They don't have the testicular fortitude or the power nor the knowledge.
We are being invaded right now.
Now, bro, I'm not going to play fucking semantics or fucking or splitting hairs. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real world situations. Now, we have, okay, literally on the Atlantic side right now, we have overwhelming superiority on the ocean to literally take on the entire world just on the Atlantic side. We have the same ability on the Pacific side. For a country to manage to have the power to invade us would be almost fucking impossible, okay? Which is why we don't need, okay? We do not need to train every single American for combat because it's fucking stupid.
Mystic, who do we have coming in?
I'm not understanding how
border?
that's stupid when we have a 2A, we have a Second Amendment. We having a problem with people who are not training themselves to properly use guns. I'm not saying take them through. Hold on, I'm not saying taking them through the same process as a Marine or a Army person going. I'm not even saying go into the military, but if there's some type of, because to me, handling a gun and being prepared for something I have to mandatory do, like selective services, say that happens, because we can't say it's not going to happen because it may. Not, especially the way our world is going. All I'm saying is having some type of preparedness training with their firearms will also breed discipline. And this is why I'm saying it's no different than putting them into school, like a parent putting somebody into military school or putting them into trade school. I understand what you're saying because I know how hard. Take the most basic things that help them be prepared or at least have a one-up in case. We all are patriots. We all will defend this country if we have to, if somebody invades this land.
That was the Chris.
But why not make people ready? What's wrong with giving them gun training?
If we were all and we all wanted to defend our country with numbers of retention and re-enlistment or enlistment right now, in ever, we wouldn't have that. We're not all patriots. We're not. No, and the last thing I want is a bunch of freaking LGBTQ dudes running down the street with rainbow flags on their shoulder with combat training, bro. I don't want that. I don't want Antifa running around cities burning shit down with combat training, bro.
But Mystic,
I don't want that. That's nuts.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Mystic. Who would you rather have beside you if you got, like, let's say tomorrow the draft happened, right? And you had to go back because they decided that they needed you, you had civilians that were also getting drafted. First off, civilians are not going to go through the same length of boot camp depending on how dire the situation is. If it's an immediate thing, they're going to give you a very basic level of training, and they're just going to ship people off. Do you feel Hold on. Do you feel comfortable serving next to somebody who doesn't have proper training?
They don't, Austin. That is a falsehood. They don't do that. If they were to draft you, they would put you through the same fucking OSIT that any other combat MOS or any person that served their country in OSIT did. That's what they're gonna do. Okay, we got hundreds of thousands of.
They did not get the same training the last time we had a draft.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And go fact check me if you like.
I'll take your
likelihood,
word
No, I agree
likelihood of a civilian in today's day and age getting drafted is ill to none. Okay, we have enough veterans in our country okay, to refill our ranks probably 2 or 3 times over. They're going to call every veteran under the age of 60 back before they call any civilian, okay? And if they need them, believe me, they will have enough time to train them all. We don't need the freaking mandatory service anybody, bro. It would pervert everything that the military stands for in our country. Now, if you want to get, now you want to have
I don't
some
necessarily
type of,
agree with that.
Situation.
I don't either.
I don't agree with that either.
I don't think it'll
Because y'all have never been through the
military-
training.
No,
because y'all have never been through our training.
I'm saying, look,
Mystic.
Mystic, I'm saying I don't think it's going to pervert our military just because we give some people gun discipline and some a little bit of military poise about themselves. I just think it's be better for society. One, I also think it'd be better for people's psyche, but also make them prepared just in case. At the end of the day, it doesn't. Obviously, they're not going to get military like what you have until they actually get drafted. Like you said, they go into their 3-month training, and they do those in cycles when they do draft. I remember seeing that when they did do it.
Chris, how about this? How about
But
this?
all
Look
I'm
how
saying
different
is,
this
it's just
How
I
about
don't
this?
see why that's.
If you want to vote, how about this? If you want to vote, right? If you want to vote, then you got to go sign up for some 1-month training and some military base, right, where they show you how to be proficient with the firearm. I don't have a problem with that. But giving actual tactical training to somebody, no, bro.
So Mystic, so you would be in support then of serving guaranteed citizenship? Like this sounds like Starship Troopers.
we already have
100%.
that. You can serve in the military in order to get citizenship. It's one.
Yeah,
thing.
but
Well, no, I mean
always
like in society where you like if you serve in the military or you do something great for the society, then you can become what's called a citizen instead of just a civilian.
I don't agree with
Lou,
that.
what do you have to say, hun?
One, we got to remember in a situation in regards to a draft, no matter what, you still go through boot. Boot is not just about trigger awareness and learning how to shoot a firearm. That's not what boot is about. That's not
That's
what
the least
training
of
is
it.
about. Yes, that's the bare minimum, but you learn tactics. You learn what to do and not to do. I'm pretty sure the people that don't know about military shit, the first thing they would do is if they see somebody running from them, they start chasing them. And this is a mindset of a civilian. Those that have been trained don't chase his ass, because that will lead you right into an ambush. You learn your surroundings, your MET TCs, your terrain. You learn all these things. It is not just about trigger awareness or how to learn to shoot a firearm. And while you're learning all these tactics, by the way, you're working on your physical and mental toughness, because you're getting the dog shit smoked out of your ass so that you don't get tired when you're on the fucking battlefield. It is more than just getting and playing toy soldier that anybody fucking did as a kid. If you don't know about the fucking training that one has to go through it, shut the fuck up.
And that's the thing. People, you're missing what we're saying. We're not negating that. I'm not even saying giving them
that's not
full
what-
military
no one was
training.
negating.
What I'm saying is this: having some type. We have issues with guns, and guess what? The remedy for that is gun training. That's why I train my kids. This is why most of us who are real patriots, we train our kids to use rifles and guns responsibly. What if that was mandatory? I'm not saying give them a full military training. That's why I said it's not going to degrade the military. I'm not acting like I know what goes on. What I'm saying is, if there is these things in place, it wouldn't hurt to give them the bare minimums to make sure that they're responsible in the moment, just in case we, let's say, get invaded and they don't have time to go to some military camp because somebody's bombing our country. I'm not saying it's going to happen, not saying that's going to be easy. But if it was, and they know that everybody in America is going to go to war, having just a little bit of gun training, gun safety, a little bit of discipline doesn't hurt, because we do that as parents.
You know what won us the Revolutionary War? You know what won us the Revolutionary War?
Regular people.
No, it wasn't the militia. It wasn't the militia. You know what it was? Because it wasn't really the militia. It was a bunch of backwoods ass hicks that spent their entire life hunting and trapping, right? That taught the militia how to fight in a way that they didn't realize that they could fight, right? Because they were brainwashed soldiers that fought a specific way, right? There is strength in diversity, and there is strength in civilians when it comes to those type of situations. When you put everybody through training, everybody thinks the same way, right? You put everybody in a box. Now the enemy knows how to know you. One of the biggest strengths that we have is the fact that our enemy doesn't know us. If they invade, they don't know what the fuck we're gonna do, right? Because they don't know whether they're gonna run into gangsters in Compton or run into hillbillies in Virginia. They have no fucking idea. Once you train everybody, you put everybody in a box and we all fight the same way.
Okay, I see your point, but I still think that gun safety is not something out of the purview that we should make mandatory.
Oh, gun safety is one thing, dude.
And I'm sorry, I think that should be taught through military personnel, because those are the people who know how to do gun safety better than anybody in this country.
Well,
I'm sorry,
yeah, Chris,
I believe that if we had that type of training with these people, then we will see less gun violence. We'll see more responsibility, because now you're giving these people purpose. I'm not saying this is why I keep saying, I'm not saying give them the same exact training that the military do. I'm saying give them something that gives them a head up until they want to go to the military. And we can cure a lot of these problems. I teach my daughter gun safety, which teaches her discipline. I know that's not a military thing, but I think the problem is we got all of these, like you said, gangsters going around. I get it, but these gangsters are not practicing gun safety. They're not, I think if you give these people some idea, these people wouldn't be doing half the crimes they're doing. That's all I'm saying. It just cures a lot of problems. That's why I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to take away from the military. I would never give them military training because they're not ready for it. I would never give them military tactics, but giving them the basics responsibilities that you get maybe in the first, I don't know how it works in boot camp like you guys do, but I'm just saying, just the basics. Gun safety is something we are advocating for. And if it's mandatory, then we won't even have to worry about that.
Well,
but that's
so
just
my thing
me.
is, I don't like the mandatory aspect, but my idea was make it something that anyone, even non-gun owners, could go do yearly, and they could get tax write-offs or money back on their taxes if they were able to get money back from going and taking a class every year, right?
Right.
So like this year could be on pistols, next year can be on long rifles, the year after that it could be shotguns or whatever. But the education factor, the aspect of, safely handling it, cleaning them, shooting them, all those things, right? That was what my thought process was. That way,
that's where I was